Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netradio.com Tijuana. Today, Lietoc and I are joined by Portland, Oregon folk artist Jeffrey Sllverstein. He put out 2 albums on Arrowhawk Records, currently touring his latest Western Sky record here on the Central Coast. You can catch Jeffrey at the Ojai Deer Lodge on July 22nd and the Mollusk Surf Shop in Santa Barbara on July 23rd. How's it going, Jeffrey?
It's going good. My cat just jumped in my lap, so even better now.
Yeah. What's your cat's name?
This is our older cat named Veda, and she's almost 18. And then we got a little one, and then we actually just adopted a dog. He's snoozing somewhere, but it's turning into House of Critter over here.
Yeah, that's cute.
So again, are all the animals that are living under one roof, and are they working together with each other? Do they respect each other's boundaries?
I love that question, and it's an important one. I think for the most part, yeah. Veda, the older cat here, is definitely like, she's setting the tone. You got to respect her. If you do that, everything else will fall into place. Right?
That's cool. We have Yeah, Jeffrey, so what have you been up to recently? We're like 6 months into the year. Anything cool happened so far?
Yeah, just the end of my school year, which was my end of the 10th year as a teacher, which is kind of wild, So it feels pretty cool to hit that mark. I don't know. That's a long time to do anything,
That really is, dude, for sure. How did you get into teaching and stuff?
My mom was a special ed teacher for a really long time, kind of in the family. And then I kind of tried not to be a teacher for a while because I think I was like, oh, it's like what my mom did. I don't want to just like go down that route. And then I had like taught for a little bit in Baltimore, which is where I went to college. And then it's also where it's like when I went to college, it's where I started teaching. And that's also really like the first city where I started like, I guess, more seriously playing music and touring and stuff like that. But kind of like, so I kind of had my Baltimore days. And then when I moved to New York, took a break from teaching for a bit. And I don't know, something just kind of brought me back to it. And there's a program in New York where you do your master's for 2 years while you're also teaching full time. And it's really intense. And it's like, but I always kind of knew that the only way that I was going back to school was if it was on someone else's dime, know? And so, I mean, like, the program itself ultimately was pretty cool, but I think like the huge takeaway was just the school that I wound up teaching at in Brooklyn was like, it was really intense, but it was like really wonderful staff. And I feel like that having like a good, positive, real first experience I think that's what's like made me want to keep going,
Nice. That's awesome.
So yeah.
I know you're saying too that you're looking forward to like summer and stuff. Do you have any like plans or anything for like the brief couple months that you're not working?
Besides the tour.
Yeah, besides the tour.
Yeah. Normally, so my wife's birthday is at the beginning of July and I'm the 23rd. So normally we do some kind of road trip or something to kind of celebrate both our birthdays. So we're going to head out to Eastern Oregon, out towards Joseph. Have you spent time there before? Do you know that area?
I don't really know Oregon too much. I've never been.
Yeah, so it's cool. Living here, like you can kind of pick any direction and be in mountains or desert. And like, so like Eastern Oregon is more like high desert kind of vibe.
Oh,
with
interesting.
Like really stunning mountains, kind of off in the distance. And really just like stunning landscape. So we're going to go do some camping and kind of cruising around out there, come back. And then the tour starts after that. And that's like most of July. And then that ends with doing a few DJ sets at Pickathon, which is pretty cool.
Oh, sick, dude. Nice.
Big festival out this way. And then really just, I don't know, trying to have, I normally try to like have my summers kind of like have some of that, more moving parts in July and kind of bookend it with just time just to kind of do nothing or work on new music or just and just enjoy, I don't know, just moving a lot slower than I normally get to.
Yeah, for sure. So when does the school year start up again, in September? Or?
Yeah, and it's funny because it seems like it.
One question I've got there, I don't think I've ever realized or taken Oregon as a state with deserts. Ever realized that's just.
I know. I always just assume it's like
on that. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the land out there, the geography out there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like was my understanding of it too, and I think that's just like the kind of stuff that still keeps kind of blowing me away out here is that there's just, I don't know, just still, I feel like, you know, we've been living here 6 years, and I feel like we've barely touched the state still.
Yeah,
you know.
So, do you guys go like camping a lot and stuff?
We try to. Summer a lot. My wife also, she teaches illustration. She's a full-time illustrator and teaches.
Oh, cool.
And so our schedules tend to overlap the most come summertime.
Yeah.
So that's normally when we try to hit it the most. So yeah, definitely looking forward to just being outside. And,
yeah. Sick, dude.
And then, wait, one other question, because I know you mentioned doing some DJ sets.
Oh yeah.
And I know you're playing. Are you going to be doing one in Los Angeles at Gold Diggers?
So no, so it was just like the San Diego show. I had also I knew Andrew, who is part of that San Diego Freakout crew, and I really like his DJ stuff and mixes that he makes, and also his artwork is absolutely phenomenal. So that was kind of like who I was working on that show with, and then I forget how I came across that bar, Part-Time Lover, but it just looks so beautiful, and I don't know, I love playing records out, and I know Andrew DJs there sometimes, so I was like, it'd be cool if maybe I could just bring a small stack of records and play some afterwards. So that one I'll actually be, I guess, kind of playing some records of my own, and the rest of the shows that have DJs, it's just like friends of mine or friends of the other bands that are playing. And
nice.
Yeah, the DJs that are doing the Gold Diggers one though, they run this label called Forager Records. Have you come across this?
Maybe.
I want to say it's not connected to Aquarium Drunkard, is it?
It's not directly connected. Aquarium Drunkard is like presenting our Los Angeles show, but I mean, they would that's definitely a site that would write about a lot of the Forager Records stuff. But they do just like really cool, like archival kind of, long lost, kind of folk country, etc. Kind of stuff, which is a lot of what I'm, constantly scouring for and looking for. So that's kind of their vibe. So I think it'll be a nice compliment to the.
So I'm assuming you'll be DJing, then some private press or some reissue stuff there, folk wise. Yeah,
that's like a lot of what I'm drawn to. I mean, I don't know. Dig all the more time goes on. I dig all your traditional kind of country stuff and whatever else too. But yeah.
Make sure when you're in San Diego to hit up, because also tied to Part-Time Lovers, the Folk Arts Ray Records.
Man, that's another one I've had my eye on. I'm really excited to get to check it out.
That shop, and I always go just for tapes or CDs, but it's always a trip, always a treat. There is something wild in there that always catches my eye.
Yeah, because they'll do shows there occasionally, right?
Occasionally, maybe also a DJ. Like they've done some ambient DJ stuff. There's connections to a community station there as well. So
I know
open-ended.
Because I think whoever runs that shop, I see oftentimes it'll be like Part-Time Lovers, like they're DJing there, or cool.
Oh, good. That's like one connection to the San Diego scene. I'm based out there. And I only ever look vaguely in with like a telescope almost, because I'm out on the periphery in the suburbs. But
I was gonna say, where are both of you right now?
I'm
Escondido.
Maddie's in Escondido. I'm in. Do you know where Simi Valley is? It's in Ventura County. Yeah. I got family out that way. Oh, cool. Yeah. So I'm in Simi, and then I just like drive up to Santa Barbara for my show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then I went to school and like lived in Santa Barbara, and it's like not too far, so it's like might as well just keep doing this, you know. And then I also do like
Nice.
just a bunch of like show promotion, like Ventura County, Santa Barbara area and stuff. So
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I have, it's really nice. Like, we don't have family in Oregon, but like a lot of my dad's family, like cousins and stuff, are all up and down California. So when I tour the West Coast, it
you
also
try to,
means
yeah,
a chance to get to see them, and which is really cool. So, yeah. What was I just gonna say? Yeah, I can't wait to come back to Santa Barbara though. I mean, we played Mollusk last year, and
oh, did you?
like,
That's sick.
Nice.
it was one of those things where it's like a Tuesday, you know, you're playing, you know, at a surf shop, and I'm like, I don't know who comes to the show on a Tuesday, you know, that like no one really, you know, and it felt like the whole town came. You know?
Dude, that's cool actually. I know like people are hip to like the Mollusk shows for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it was one of those things that I was just like locked in my mind. I was like, let's do that again.
Yeah, know? For sure. Who helped you out get your Ojai gig?
So that one was interesting. Oh my God, just watching my dog chew on our couch. The Ojai gig, there's a nonprofit, like an environmental nonprofit called Tierra Soul.
Okay.
And they had wrote to me, they do these really cool, it'll be like all solar powered shows and really beautiful, you know, outdoor spaces. So they kind of do that stuff, but then they also just present a lot of shows at the Ojai Deer Lodge. And so that guy wrote to me a while ago about trying to get me to come down and play. And then so when I was putting this tour together, and I hope it's okay that I'm moving around. I'm assuming the video doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, you're chilling, dude. So much. No, you're good.
When I realized this tour was coming together, I kind of reached back out to him.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. For a while, I think this was like pre-COVID, but like the Deer Lodge was like under like different ownership, and they just let us have like punk shows and stuff there. It was kind of sick.
Oh, what? That rules.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, now it's like, now there's like cool stuff going up in Ojai. I don't go to shows too much in Ojai, but like I think that when I do see stuff, there's like Ojai just has like a really sick scene. There's also like the weird.
Yeah, all the shows I see get going on at the Deer Lodge, I'm always like, shit, I would go to that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's really cool stuff. And occasionally like big gigs that go down in Ojai, and you're like, oh damn, like that's kind of wild that that's just happening there. And then there's also like a really cool, just like weird free jazz scene up there that like our friend Rob is like kind of like heading. I don't know if you've heard of like Rob McGill at all, but he's like really sick.
I don't know that name, but like that's kind of like my understanding is that like there's like, you know, there's like cool opportunities for band. You know, I think the last show I saw get posted at the Deer Lodge was like Cass McCombs or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cass
See,
McCombs
they have like
through Santa Barbara also back in like 2019 as well.
Dude, yeah, they just have like sick stuff. It's cool.
But that's cool. I mean, like, I don't know. It's like, it also kind of makes sense that there would be a, you know, more like heady free jazz thing going on out there. So that's
mountain jazz.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jazz, dude.
You kind of, I don't know. I guess I've been thinking about that actually recently because I was listening to our pal Andrew Weathers and one of the recordings he does as Windtide. And Windtide's music consistently changes. It's him and his partner Gretchen. And this new recording they had back in January, it's got heavier drums, but they're doing stuff with clarinet and trombone, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit of a jazz character. It's like, oh, it's prairie jazz.
Yeah,
but
dude,
it's just for that one region and for that moment.
That's Texas jazz, dude.
That's Texas jazz.
Yeah. I've been I have like this record that's like a country jazz record.
That's sick.
It's like cool. Something you don't necessarily always think of like the crossover between those two genres, but there really is some
for sure
some commonality, you know. So.
That's awesome.
What's like one of kind of the defining like things that shows up or intersects in both of them sound wise? Is it like pedal steel or?
I guess it was just like I'm a big Buddy Emmons, a pedal steel player. fan, and I just read his book, and he was kind of, I would say, one of the first guys to kind of like lean in or start doing, session work with more kind of, notable jazz guys. And he's got a cool kind of country jazz record. And so that's really kind of like, I guess to me, more so my understanding of those two things meeting was just like, you don't think, historically, the steel is associated with country. And I think, now there's all these wonderful people using that instrument for really wild music, ambient music, psychedelic music. But even that was going on, a while ago, or guys really kind of taking it, other places. I think now we just like are more hip to it. But I think then the fact that he was jumping in with jazz people was pretty, at that moment in time, was pretty like, whoa,
it was probably
work. And people were like, wow, it does.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. So Maddie, should we hop into, I guess the meat and potatoes?
I mean, yeah, we've really had a great opening round. I think that's enlightened us to get to this point. We should, though, we need to take a big step back in the Jeffrey Sllverstein lore here, because you've tipped us, or you kind of hinted us around to being very involved in DIY for quite some time. Came from New Jersey, but really your big start was in Baltimore. And could you talk about some of the work that you did with the Secret Mountains Collective and how that worked into your relationship with Nassau and with Fire Talk Records?
Yeah, it was, let's see. In college, I kind of like, was making a fairly stereotypical transition from like listening to like hardcore and punk of more of my younger, whatever formative years. And, just starting to just spend a lot of time by myself and write songs, on acoustic more, and just like getting stoned and going to the library and taking out, live Neil Young DVDs and just sick. Like CDs and DVDs, just like really kind of like discovering some of my, I guess ultimately kind of like my mom and dad's music, but like in my own way, without them being like, this is why it's good. You got to come to all that stuff on your own. So,
did you, because I know you mentioned the DVDs, did you ever check out any of the songbooks? I always see that when I'm filing away stuff in the library. I'm like, oh, we've got the Tracy Chapman songbook. Really?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really dig in on the songbook thing, but yeah, I just like, and so it was kind of like that was also overlapping. I graduated college in 2009, and that also was overlapping with like the rise of the whole like freak folk movement. They kind of, like your Devendra Banharts and Bedouins and Joanna Newsom. And all of the bands surrounding that scene were really exciting to me. I haven't really, like heard, I guess, music like that coming from people around my age. And so all of that was kind of thrown together. I'm writing songs, and Secret Mountains kind of started as a songwriting project of my own, quickly became a 6-person kind of more psych rock thing. And, it was a beautiful time to be in Baltimore and be in a band, because that was also the height of, it was the Wham City Collective. So that's, so all of these bands were in Baltimore, and I could go see them kind of at the drop of the dime. I mean, Future Islands, Wyoke, and Dan Deacon, Animal Collective.
Did you see Ponytail?
Yeah, all the time.
See,
dude, that's
we
so
just
sick.
talked with Dustin a couple weeks ago about Ponytail. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So it was like this unbelievable era because also like Baltimore's like, there was definitely like a spotlight on it for a little bit, but like it was just a very exciting time. It was a cheap city to live. And so all of a sudden I had these examples of what it looked like to like be a really hardworking band or go on tour. And I was like, I'd like to, and then I worked at a venue, and that's really how I started understanding, booking my own shows and tours. And so that was really, I would say, my first real go at like participating in the music scene, and felt like really, moved by it and committed to it. And then that band came to a close, was ready for a change. So then I lived in Brooklyn for a while, and like I said, that's where I also started. I taught a little bit in Baltimore, but that's where I went back to school for teaching at the same time. And let's see, that project I was in was just a duo, and I think it was oh nice, hell yeah, whoa, that's cool.
Shout out to Fire Talk. I got a Media Jeweler tape, and they were like, hey, we got a bunch of other tapes we're sending you for free, and I was like, sick. And this is one of them, and it is still one of my favorites because didn't know a single thing about it, and it was in that same realm of like Lena Tolgren, Yowler, some of the Mutual Benefit, some of the Mark Mirza stuff that he's continued on from there, and I was like, I loved it for that.
Yeah.
But I never connected really cool. that you did this until today with both. I just didn't. So it's great.
It was just kind of like a shorter lived project, and because I kind of also knew that I was getting ready to move.
Oh, I see.
Move out this way. And I don't know. I've been, like I said, I don't know. I'm just a lifer, I guess, at this point. All right. I think I can't imagine not doing it in some shape or form. So it's just, I'm just in. I'm just, I think even if I, reached a point where I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this stuff anymore, it's like that would not last. I would find a way back, So
yeah.
Has it always been easy to find an audience for the music, regardless of what configuration you've been in, just to get with for shows with kind of labels?
No, I think I'm becoming more convinced that there is an audience from most, people. Sometimes in a surprising way, I'm like, wow, there really is an audience for that. Holy shit!
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I mean, I have been very fortunate in that. A lot of the people I've collaborated and worked with have been really positive, motivating people. And I guess my point perhaps is just that you gotta keep good people around you. And I think if you're doing that and you're trying on some level to create art that is really you, and letting people into that, then I think I think you'll find an audience. Just, I don't know. It might not be the one you thought it would be, or it might, or as big of one, or vice versa. But I think for me, I'm just like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm gonna be doing this regardless.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, it's just part of me. So
yeah, and I also feel like when you're making stuff that like comes from like a truly genuine place, people are more likely to like latch onto that and care about it, as if like someone's just doing this because they're like, I want to be popular. You know what I mean? So
I know, and it's like, I just feel like the older I get, like all that kind of advice, or like the cheesy or lame stuff, it's like, God, it's also so true.
I mean, it is like, or at least like just from like what I'm drawn to more to, you know what I mean? If it's like, I don't know, someone's making like some weird music and it comes from the heart, it's like, I'll support that. That's sick. It's like, yeah. So
what, I guess, let's kick it back a little bit. We were kind of rambling a bit about Portland, just thoughts overall on that lack of like a major label, but also all of these wild independent entities just going about.
Yeah, I think there's something going on here recently. Just like when I moved here, it felt like maybe it was like a kind of like the end of some of your more like it's funny, people even ask like, what's a really big band from Portland? And sometimes I'm like, I don't really know who are like biggest, but like people always say like the Decemberists,
Oh, I see.
And I totally forget, like I was thinking Ela Bamba as maybe the like quintessential that's Portland indie right now. But forget Decembers from there.
What was I gonna say? I think there's just I think like that kind of sound I think is kind of like come and gone, and I just think there's like way more kind of like refreshing stuff going on, for at least for what I'm interested in. And overall, it's been an incredibly inviting city for me to participate in. So much, I've spoken with other people who moved here started their music journeys out here too. And it's almost like, in a way, you're like skeptical of how supportive it is at first, because you're like, wait, should people be being this nice to me, or this helpful, or, and you realize like, no, I don't, again, I'm speaking from, my perspective.
Yeah.
But overall, I think, we've got great venues. We've got incredible record stores. We've got, phenomenal places that curate DJs. Like there's a really neat kind of music ecosystem here. And it's one that like just feels real and supportive and, not, and also like not overwhelming.
That's sick.
Yeah. The label that you released, your last two, You Become the Mountain, and then this latest one, I forget the name.
Western Sky Music.
Western Sky Record, thank you. They came out on Arrowhawk, and is Arrowhawk Portland based as well?
Arrowhawk is in Athens, Georgia. It's my friend Alyssa, who I've known for a long time through different music stuff. But
sick.
Yeah, this is the 10th year of that label.
Wow.
Which is kind of also right another 10. And yeah, so Alyssa's been just instrumental to like all of my kind of progress since starting to kind of record and perform under my own name. But yeah, she's back in the down south.
Heck yeah.
I remember when the album came out, because it got Grayson, the one Pitchfork writer, he had done that album of the day, and I got the tape as a result of that.
Ooh.
And I loved the tape, and at the time it fit in again with some of the weirder touch points that just happened to be kind of happening under the surface, like the stuff that was on Keeled Scales out of Texas, especially Tensy's work. The stuff Mark Mirza was doing right at that moment, some of his solo release stuff, but also like the garden, like you mentioned, Athens, Georgia, and Garden Portal was doing a lot at that moment. And some of the energy from Garden Portal's kind of gone over to Island House. And I know the Modern Folk, who's another Portland artist there, he's recorded for them, but I'm like really surprised by the success and super just like jubilant by it, because I know you've now done like 3 or 4 vinyl runs of the album, and it's very slowly been happening over the past few years.
Yeah, it's been so kind of a surprise, but it's had this album, You Become the Mountain, which originally came out in 2020, has just had this really long tail. It's really nice that you picked up the tape based on that review, because Grayson's one of my all-time favorite music writers, and so that's cool.
I briefly met him back at the end of last year, and it was like he was just like, "Nope, I'm not the writer," and went off. But he's a good guy.
That's funny.
Yeah. The dog clanking was going around. Oh my god. Yeah, and you're right. The timing of that album, I think people were kind of starting to enter their COVID caves, and I think people were, I don't know, I think all the kind of ambient, there was just like this moment for ambient music.
Really for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Crept in, and I not that I necessarily make like strictly, ambient music, but I think it had maybe some similar qualities for people. So, people still to this day, write me or come to shows, because of that record, and say, it got me through, some of those really kind of darker, heavier times. It's just like,
oh, that's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing. But, and in a weird way, I think that record found its audience. You asked about audience earlier. And I think that record found its audience because we were all at home. Like, I actually don't know in this weird way if that record would have had
similar impact, like at a different time,
kind of shelf life during that. I could be wrong, but I think in a weird way, kind of, it was just right, right place at the right time.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
It's also, I gotta say, it's again a great summer record. I remember as soon as I put it on today, I immediately remembered, the last time I probably was listening to this was in 2020, cleaning up a homebrew project
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
And just like was also incredibly surprised that was the memory that came to mind. And I'm about 99% certain that was the memory. So thank you, music, for preserving that. Giving a little shout there.
It's crazy how music does that.
It's cool. It's been really cool to see you just pulling up the tapes. So thanks. Supporting, yeah.
Anyways, Thomas, take us somewhere else here on our sheet.
So I guess has like anything shifted like gear wise or anything like that from like your previous records compared to like any of the stuff you're doing now?
Yeah, I've said it's really like this one, Western Sky Music, is really like my first full band record. Dana Bowie playing drums. So a lot of the other stuff was more drum machine based. I was really digging into like, playing with other people and communicating. And I think once you dig in on that, you're excited by bringing other people into the fold. And so I felt like I had built this really nice kind of foundation with Barry, the pedal steel player, Alex, the bass player. And I was curious, and Ryan, who actually plays Neela Bamba, who you mentioned earlier. So he's who recorded my past few releases, including this one. And I felt like I had this kind of foundation of this really solid team that I could trust. And Dana was in a band for a long time that really kind of changed my life, called Akron Family.
Yeah. Sick.
And so it's actually still kind of funny for me that like now he's in my band. That band to me was so important, it still is so important. And, but I would say, the records, I would say even more collaborative. I had a lot of the song structures, but a lot of the arrangements were done kind of like on the spot, more or less, when we were recording them.
Yeah.
I've just, I don't know. You just, you learn so much when you're, playing with new people. Something for me that's just been really beautiful over the past couple of years, being able to tour again, is like I've kind of pieced together bands in different places of the country or in the UK, and then I like inviting others to like add their own thing. My songs are not so complicated and open enough where someone can kind of come in and bring themselves, and that's just a nice way to keep all of this stuff fresh live too.
Yeah, and
it's
it like gives
that's a brand new person.
Gives it like a fresh flavor.
Yeah. And I know like for me, sometimes there's like, a handful of bands where I'm like, no, I'll only go see it. It's the original lineup. Or like you really, something about it. It's like you crave that very specific drummer or whether,
okay.
And that makes sense. But like, I think for me, like I said, it's just been such a joy to travel with different players and see how these songs can kind of grow and change every time.
Sick, dude.
I guess that brings me up to a couple questions there. Are there any like particular venues that you miss or want to play again or dream of just playing for the first time? And then really any artists that you kind of would love to do, you talk about that improvisation or just how songs can be open booked on stage that you'd love to work with there in a live setting.
So you want venues specifically or musicians? Okay,
venues. We'll start with venues. Venues.
So we just did 4 shows with opening for Fruit Bats.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
And I mean, those were, easily the biggest shows I've done. So I mean, but we played at the first night was at a place called Treefort Hall, which is there's the Treefort Music Festival.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So they kind of like opened up their own proper venue, and it was it was just so beautiful to get to play like this really big room with the most wonderful staff, and it's brand new, and you know what I mean. So it was really special to kind of get to play a place that was like that, like fresh, and just had that energy of. We were just so well taken care of. I mean, we were well taken care of on that whole trip. But I would like to get back. Boise was like, I had no idea what to expect. And I was like, shit, I think I love Boise.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny. You play one good show anywhere. You're like, I love that city.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess something like I did my first UK tour earlier this year.
How was that?
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was on tour with we called it the Cosmic Country Review, and it was got Bobby Lee, my good buddy Bobby Lee over there, kind of helped organize it, and my buddy Dave Mack, and just I don't know. I think obviously there's just something about playing in another, somewhere outside of the States.
Yeah.
That was so exhilarating for me. The chemistry that those people had together was so. I don't know. We've been talking about maybe trying to bring that same tour, but like to some new places.
Dude, that'd be cool.
The place we played in, we played some really unbelievable venues. One in Sheffield called the Abbeydale Picture House, which is just this, and the highest ceilings I've ever seen, like the oldest theater you can imagine.
That's so sick.
Just a really, really unique space. The place in London was like vintage store by day, kind of venue by night upstairs.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I don't know. I like when spaces can kind of, something like that. So yeah, those are just a few maybe more recent ones that come to mind. That place in London is called, Paper Dress Vintage.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I guess like, do you see like a difference in touring like now compared to like, I guess like pre-COVID or anything like that? Like, do you see, any like major differences?
Nothing like in regards to like the music. There are more things working against artists, I think, than ever before, which is just, the narrative used to be that like, if you just, going out on the road was the way that you could actually make money. And that is not the case.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like everything's just like a big risk and a big gamble, and can leave you feeling like really like, what's it all mean?
Yeah.
Or like sifting through like, to get to the good stuff, the pure stuff is really hard, but it feels like people are really hungry for live music, maybe in an intense way. I would like to think that maybe people are more open to just like taking a risk right now, because they're like, all right, well, just a chance to go hear music with other people. And like, I don't know. So I would like to think that that's, a positive, but I guess it depends.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know, Maddie, do we have anywhere else we want to dip into on our sheet?
Not too much, I suppose.
Oh, I guess I wanted to ask too, you have anything new in the pipeline that you're working on?
Yeah, just my dog.
He pulls a guitar out with a new song.
Oh my god. I just finished tracking a new EP, and so really excited about how those songs are coming together.
Sick.
The tour starts July 19th in San Diego and goes up till the 31st, ending in Seattle.
Woo!
Awesome.
Which I'm really hyped on. All the bills are great. So I don't know if people are listening to this, come on out. Yeah, Santa Barbara show, Ojai show, LA show, a lot of San Diego show, a lot of Southern California opportunities.
We got you got Jeffrey. You're playing in at the Mollusk on July 22nd in SB, and the 23rd. Sorry, and then
it's my birthday.
Yeah, the Ojai Deer Lodge on the 22nd. Also, happy birthday for the 23rd show. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, I've never been on the road on my birthday, so that should be cool.
I think you said like free beer at that show or something too. So for anybody listening,
my buddy that lives in Santa Barbara. I don't know. Do you know Roberto Johnson? Do you know?
I don't know if I'm familiar with them.
Just like a great photographer, filmmaker, etc. Just really kind individual. But he hooked it up. He knew people at Fig Mountain Brewing.
Yeah.
So
Shout out Big Mountain.
Yeah, so Big Mountain's going to hook up some beers for that one.
Sick.
Yeah, that's a free outdoor shows in a beautiful place. So.
Awesome, dude.
Are there any great breweries on the road that you love to hit up? Big shout out to beer culture over here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in Portland, so I gotta know my stuff, Yeah, there's a brewery in San Luis Obispo called Bear Does Not Exist, which is like such like a heavy name for a brewery, but I always gotta stop there.
Wait, it's called Bear Does Not Exist?
There.
Okay.
Oh, There Does Not Exist. That's a sick name. Yeah,
pretty good name, pretty clever. But it's just like a really beautiful space and phenomenal beer. So
I'm gonna have to check that out next time I'm up there, because we only ever hit up the big slow breweries, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Thank you for that. All right.
I guess first, I guess, like, where can people keep up with all things Jeffrey Sllverstein if they want to keep up with your music or
if you just go to Jeffrey Jeffrey Lewis Lewis, and then Silverstein, JeffreyLewisSilverstein.com. That's my website, and so there's like tour dates and stuff on there and everything else, and then Instagram. I would say is probably the main one. I do like a monthly Substack newsletter too that you can just Google my name and then Substack.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and now you get to experience me literally on the floor trying to. So by the way, the scene right now in my house is my dog watching my cat grow up. Right? Just so you know what I'm experiencing.
That's insane.
This is good stuff.
That's what I mean. This is you're getting me at my finest right now.
Yeah. I love to hear that.
Jeffrey's not begging. It just is. I don't know. This has been fun.
Oh my God! Apologies for the madness on my end.
No worries on our end as well.
We got one last question here. It's kind of the biggest of the show. Do you want to take it? Let's do it. Yeah.
I thought you were asking like which one.
Oh no, yeah.
To ask. Let's.
Thomas, you get to do this one.
Okay. All right. So, a rat is going to jump into your mouth. Do you want this rat to jump into your mouth head first or butt first, and why?
This is such a hard question for me to answer, as I literally just watched my dog pick up my cat's throw up. So, like, my head right now is really, really specific. I was supposed, rat is jumping in my mouth. Do I want head first or feet first? I mean, I don't know. Like, head first just feels more like, I guess. Well, what did Ozzy bite off a bat?
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose maybe I'll just go for more of an Ozzy kind of.
Oh, dude, that's dope. Yeah.
Whoa.
Like I'm not fucking around. So if this rat is jumping in my mouth, I might as well just get
it over with.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if the rat's a cute little guy that used some mouthwash just recently and just accidentally slipped in there. No, it's getting it. Rats.
Poor guy. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning into TBD at KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. and NetNet Radio every Wednesday, 7 p.m. It's been Jeffrey Sllverstein. Thanks again, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.